Hello, you're watching Much Ado About Something today, and I'm Donna. I have been doing errands today. I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to share some of my day with you today. I had to go do errands. I had to go get some groceries and do a few other things this morning. So, Monday is the day that I don't have grandchildren. So, sometimes I might have just one grandchild. But it's the day that I don't have, so many that I can't fit in the car and go do what I need to do. So today I went and got groceries at Sam's, and it came out to be $172 and some change. And that was about $40 more than I generally spend. So it was, over budget. I was over budget. I have, sometimes I'll go out and eat on a Monday, as a treat. But I came home and made myself a sub. I'm going to have a Chobani blueberry yogurt. And I've been drinking my ice drink. And I bought all of those at Sam's for the ingredients to make the sub. Because things are hitting hard and I'm going to have to stop eating out. Just going to have to cut that off. Not be eating out. Me and Donald did eat out yesterday. We went to the Dairy and got us a banana split. That was our date day. We went up to check on Mama, and Mama went with us. We ate out at KFC, and then we went to the Goodwill and looked around. And then we visited my sister and her husband and just enjoyed ourselves and came back down. And then on the way home, we stopped and got a banana split. We used to go get banana splits all the time. That was our treat. We would do that once a week in the summer as just a treat for ourselves. It was part of our date night or our date day. But we cut those out because, there's a lot of sugar in that and a lot of carbs and things that we didn't need, so we had cut it out. But it was so hot yesterday, and we had just thought about it for 2 days, so we decided to go ahead and get us a banana split. I'll insert a picture of the banana split in here. If not, right after this, I'll try to insert it at the end of the video. That thing was delicious. And of course, whenever we indulge in something like that, that's our whole dinner. We don't do it but maybe once a week, and then when we do, it's our whole dinner. But we've thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so good. And we were glad that we done that. But we are going to stop eating out. Donald eats out at work a lot. I've got water in my cup. He eats out, almost every day for work when he's working because he's out of town. He can't get back. And this kind of heat, you don't want to pack a lunch and leave it in your car or your truck in this kind of heat. So he generally eats out every day anyway. And I usually eat out if it's errand day or with friends. That's usually whenever I eat out, is with family and friends. It's just a way that I spend time with them, is we go out and eat together, and we may go shopping, which usually is thrift shopping because things are expensive even at the thrift store. When I went with Mama, I was so surprised at how expensive everything was. So now we're at our limit to where we are back on a budget like you wouldn't believe. We hadn't been on a budget like this in years. But now we're back to a bare bones budget, and it starts with today. So I had to go get groceries today because if you don't have groceries and good things to eat, it'll make you want to go out and eat. I had to go get some of the waffles that my little granddaughter that has autism and Down syndrome, she loves a certain kind of waffles. She loves Eggos. I was going to do a grocery haul, but it is 98 degrees outside and the heat index is 110. So I didn't have time to let that milk, those frozen waffles, our lunch meat, all the things that had to go in the refrigerator, I had to carry it to the refrigerator. And I won't be getting it back out to do a grocery haul. I really wanted to share with y'all what I picked up at Sam's today and show you the 2 extra things that I got. The 2 extra things that I got was that 3-pack of Clorox that Sam's had. I remember when that 3-pack of Clorox, and it was just a few years ago, was $5.85 for that 3-pack of Clorox. Maybe it went up to $7 and some. $7 and some odd cents. But that 3-pack of Clorox was $18.95. Almost $20 for 3 gallons of Clorox. Yep. So that was very expensive, and I was shocked at that. And I had to get laundry detergent. I hadn't had to get laundry detergent in quite a while because, you know, I had cut back trying to just use the bare necessity. Let me walk over here and just show you that laundry detergent. So I got this big thing of all. I've never really used all. Donald grew up using all, but I got it because the price was more affordable, and he said it was really good. He grew up using it, so he liked it. So I bought that this time. I usually get Persil, but Persil was $5 more than this. And if I don't get Persil, then I'll get Tide. But those were out of the budget for me, so I didn't get them. I'm going to try this all and see how it does. And then I got this 3-pack of Clorox, which was $18.98. Incredibly expensive. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a break and eat my lunch because it's 1:30. And I haven't ate yet today, and which I don't mind fasting. I can fast and it doesn't bother me. But I'm just going to go ahead and eat because I'm going to go ahead and get some of this stuff picked up and everything in the, you know, where it goes. I got all the refrigerator and freezer stuff in the refrigerator and the freezer. But I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy my sandwich. It has mayonnaise, turkey, and provolone cheese. And that'll be an excellent sandwich for me. It's usually more carbs than I eat in bread, but I've got a lot to do today that's physical. I think I'll burn these carbs off. And then I'm going to eat this little cup of Chobani, and I'm drinking my black raspberry zero sugar ice drink, which I like in the summer. Well, I like them all the time. And it actually helped me cut out sodas. I used to drink sodas, but I hadn't drank sodas in probably 3 years. And then this is just water in my cup, and I'm going to, you know, alternate that and make sure that I drink plenty of water today. I did get out and garden some this morning before it got too hot, because I knew once it got 98 degrees, I would not want to get out there in that heat, and I don't want to get out in that heat. So I went out there and gardened this morning, got all of that done, got things watered. There were some things that were dried up, even though I watered yesterday. It's been hot. It's, you know, these high temperature days, end on end, just beat your plants to death. The garden is looking good. I went out there and checked on that this morning, and I might go out there and show you that here in a little bit, even though it's hot. There are a few little differences, a few little things going on out there in the back vegetable garden. But I did pull off 2 more zucchini, so that's a total of 4 medium-sized zucchinis that I've gotten off of our zucchini plants. And then there was a cucumber and plenty of blooms, lots of cucumbers to come. And no yellow squash out there today. It's date night. This is what we're having for date night. We do this once a week. Not just this, but we usually have a date night and time together, and this is what it looks like this week.
On a hot day.
Yeah. I wanted to show you this little bird. I'll try to get it to focus. You see it right here. It's out here on our elderberries, and it's eating our elderberries. That's why we've had trouble harvesting elderberries this year, because we got the little birds just helping themselves.
So we get asked a lot about the kitchen, the original kitchen.
Showing the dirt on my window. But right here is the little bird. And Cookie's sitting right here in the windowsill watching the little bird.
Basically a temporary kitchen that was put into a service area.
I'm sure he would chase him off if he could.
Formal dining room and the back window to the southeast of the park. So it actually gets beautiful.
We're out here in the back of the little vegetable garden. I've got something to share with you. I got something that's really cute. You see those tiny little bitties? We've got 2 back there. She had been sitting on some eggs, and we wasn't sure if she would hatch any eggs or not. But she has two little bitties there. They're so adorable. Now she had plenty of eggs. She was sitting on plenty of eggs, and these are the only two little bitties that hatched. So we're not sure where all the other ones are, or if any more hatched besides these two. But they're just adorable. And here's Roosty. We had to take him out. He was very aggressive to the little bitties. So we took him out for a little bit. And here are our elderberries in the backyard. You can see, I showed you the little bird that was nipping on the ones in the front. And you can see we are not getting as many elderberries this year as we thought we were going to get. And here's the garden. You can see it's doing pretty good. It's looking pretty good out here. It's still somewhat dry and it's been very hot. But everything is looking really good. Cucumbers are trailing good up the cattle panel. I harvested more zucchini today. And the tomatoes are looking really good. So this little garden's doing good. And over here is this little garden. This is yellow squash right here. We got some more tomatoes around the edge. And there were 4 red tomatoes. And I don't see any red tomatoes now. So I'm not sure where they went. Maybe my husband ate them when he mowed the yard yesterday. That's probably the most likely culprit, because these are garden snacks. There's plenty of green ones left, but the red ones were right here, and now they're not. So I'm thinking Donald probably snacked on them when he mowed the yard. Everything still does need some water. It was another 98-degree day today, so things were still hot and dry. But I had a couple of things to share with you. Now I've still got some tomatoes and stuff over here, and I've still got basil. This basil looks really good. It looks like I could harvest it right out of here. But I have been keeping these tomatoes in water until I figure out what I'm going to do with them. I planted quite a bit over here. Around here I added more tomatoes. But right here is a wonderful example. It's a wonderful observation I'm able to share with you. You see, this tomato plant was laying down in this water. And look how these roots are on this tomato plant. You see, when you lay a tomato plant down on its side, that's why you increase your yield and your growth. See all those new roots? Instead of just being in one little clump down at the end of the tomato plant, you can see that it has plenty of roots. That's a lot more roots on that tomato than you would have if you just had gotten it out of the pot and had its little roots down at the end. So that's the reason, it's just a good way to show you the reason that we lay our tomato plants down. I've been keeping these plants watered and hoping, in hopes of transferring them to a different area, but I may not be able to use all of these plants. But that basil looks great. That tomato would do great if it was planted. So I may plant some more, and just have a little later succession of tomatoes. Everything's looking pretty good. Got the 2 new little bitties. They've been a trip. It's been enjoyable to see them in the little coop. I've been keeping them plenty of water, been keeping them hydrated and well fed. And I wanted to show you, we had been using these clips on the tomatoes. I'm going to have to go in here and clip some tomatoes up. I had bought these probably 2, maybe 3 years ago. You know, me and Donald, we try to recycle, reduce, and reuse anything that we can. And I had bought these little clips to use on the plants and the tomato plants. And I have been using them for a couple of years. Well, of course, they just kind of disintegrate. They're not real well made. They're just like the minimal that you would use. I have enjoyed using those though, but this year we kind of upped the game and got these a little heavier duty clips, and we're going to see how these do on the tomatoes. I don't need anything that needs to be trellised up, you know, clipped up as we are. We've got to go through these tomatoes. There's a few things that could benefit from being clipped up, even the cucumbers. But down here, you know, there are some tomatoes, like this one, for example. It's laying down over here, and if we don't clip it up, it will just grow on the ground, which is no big deal. I mean, it's got room to grow here, but we try to keep them clipped up. I think I'm going to try those new clips. The deal's not going to do anything. It's just dried up, but the basil looks great. Luckily, I have a lot of deal from last year, so I should be okay. But right here's an example of one of these clips. It's popped off. It had been on this cucumber plant. Of course, the cucumber, it has its own little tendrils, so they kind of hang on themselves. But sometimes you'll have to guide. Oh, look what we found here. Got to go. But you can see they have their own little tendrils, and they hold on themselves. And we just usually have cucumbers just hanging straight down. They're easy to harvest. But occasionally you might need to use a little clip of some kind to hold it up. I have saw some Japanese beetles. We had June bugs not long ago. They don't usually eat too much, but we had Japanese beetles that were everywhere. This morning when I went out to check things, it looks like I do have some squash bugs eating on things, on the zucchini. Right there's the culprit. You see it there, yellow. So I'll have to get out here and see what I can put on these, or we might not be getting too many more zucchinis. You can see right here I planted the pumpkin plant right here beside of the compost, kitchen compost, and it has grown, and we have one little bloom that I know of. Well, there's 2 blooms here, so we might get a little pumpkin right here, who knows. But that looks good going. The kids' pool's green. My husband is going to work on that when he gets home. He's going to drain that and add clean water to that. Out here, everything's looking a little dry. It's a little overcast. We may get a shower. We'll see this afternoon if that happens. That'll be nice. It'll be pleasant. And I'll have to use less city water, so that'll be great. I'll hold off a little bit on watering and just see what comes of everything. Now, we didn't have a lack of great elderberries. There were plenty of elderberries that formed. But you can see from the video that I showed you, that little bird just helping himself. We've just had plenty of birds just helping themselves. So I guess we grew the elderberries for the birds this year. We'll get a small harvest, but it won't be anything like we usually get. So if I'm going to get anything, I need to get on out here, I guess, and go ahead and pick what I can. Or we're just not going to get any. Last year was a great harvest. We had a huge harvest from our elderberries. So that's a good thing. I've got some still in storage from last year. But this year, these birds are getting to these elderberries before we can get to them. So I'm not looking for much of an elderberry harvest this year. I will have to find a container that I can put these in. I've kept these in this container. It just makes them easier to get to. I'll find another container that I can store these in. I am going to go ahead and walk up here to the chicken coop and go ahead and get a few eggs. The chickens are hot, but they have a shade. Donald's put shade right here for them. And then they can always get in their coop. Sometimes they just get in their hen house whenever they get real hot. Things have been dry, so we hadn't had as much messy eggs. Our eggs are looking good. Sometimes there's chicken scratch all over the eggs. I like it when we can get the clean eggs. Of course, that's always better. I'm trying not to break these things. They're still putting out really good. It's hot. Our old girls are doing good. I gave them fresh water this morning, and of course they're messy. I'll have to get in here and water the little rabbits and give them feed. This is Cinnamon. We've had him for quite a while. We have got to probably get new rabbits. I'm telling you, he's almost 4 years old. But he is a sweet bunny. These are the elderberries I've harvested thus far. I'll just add these few to them. Now, of course, here out front, this is where I showed you the little bird was at. We've got quite a bit of... I usually bring a cardboard box, but I was not able to find a cardboard box. We've been harvesting blueberries and such, and so we've used a lot of our boxes. But we can get a few of these elderberries, but not many. We're not going to get a lot this year. It's going to be slim pickings. And not every year is a bumper crop. Some years you get more and some years you get less. And of course the berries are smaller this year because we've had so much drought. We didn't have a lot of rain, so the berries are not big. They're on the smaller side. There's plenty up at the top. There's plenty of the berries. They're just getting picked over. I thought I better come out here and go ahead and pick some while I can, so that we'll get some this year. Now these are the berries from the front yard. We've got a little elderberry patch here in the front yard on the corner of the house. And we also have elderberries that's planted in the back. So we've got plenty of them here. There's hardly any on this little stem. And when they're mostly ripe, I'll just go ahead and pick the whole cluster. There might be 1 or 2 green ones on that I'll have to take off, but that's no big deal. And if I let them stay on here and get much riper, of course the birds will pick them off, and then they'll just fall off to the ground. So you gotta get out here and get them when you can. Well, I noticed my Hoya has grown, so I'm just gonna lift it up right here and use one of those clips I shared with you today. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. Let's see if I get to get that clipped up a little bit so that it won't be leaning over here where we open the door. Well, you can see it's dark outside. It's nighttime. I'll just go ahead and show you my plants, some of my plants. They love the summer. I don't have access to a lot of light, but they love being right here in front of this door. And of course, I give up a little bit of ability to get to things by letting them stay right there, but it's okay. I enjoy the plants. I've got to water this little rabbit foot fern. That thing, it has to stay wet or it'll just dry up on me. It's one that Jody and I got when we went to one of those greenhouses together. We got that little rabbit's foot fern back here. It's right here. I think they're so cute. I really enjoy it. I have to fill the watering can up and water the plants. I'm doing things a little different tonight. I'm sharing with you my nighttime cup of tea instead of my morning cup of tea. I've got some chamomile lemon here. It's a loose leaf tea. I'm going to put some of that in this tea ball. And then I've got some passion fruit. This won't have a lot of caffeine in it, so it'll be good for nighttime. Passion fruit has calming properties, so I'm going to put one of those tea bags in, and then I'm going to fill my little tea ball with this chamomile. And it looks like the chamomile is not the flower, it's chamomile lemon, but it looks like it's the leaf, and it's got the lemon peel in it, the dried lemon peel. I might take this out of the original container and put it in a canister that's easier to get to than what I've got going on here. So I've got some chamomile in here, and that'll be the kind of tea that I'm going to have tonight. That way it won't keep me up. It'll be enjoyable and relaxing to have before bed. I pretty much was wiped out by that heat today. I shared with you that I went and got groceries and done errands. So I was loading my cart when I was shopping. Then I had to load it into my vehicle. And then when I got home, I had to unload everything So, you know, it was a lot of work out there in that heat today. And then I got out and done a little few things in the garden. I did get the rest of the elderberries that I could reach. I got those harvested today. So here they all are. I have yet to get them off of to get the berries off of the stems. I will do that tomorrow, and I will lay these all out flat, let these elderberries start drying. I just mixed them in with the ones I had. You can see they're already starting to dry. But I've got to get these kind of spread out so that they can start drying, and this will be all of the elderberries that we get this year, and I'll share them with you when I get them dried. And you know, it's enough for this year. It'll be enough to make elderberry syrup, and so I think it'll be perfectly okay. It's not as big of a crop as we usually have, but you know, I'll work with what I have. I want to thank you for joining me in my day in the life vlog. Let me share with you what was going on today. I hope that you stay cool and take good care of yourself until we see each other again. And like always, until next time.